Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, construction sparks a concern in Mona Heights. Frustrated residents in Mona Heights, St. Andrew, are demanding action from the Kingston and the St. Andrew Municipal Corporation following what they described as a chaotic building construction in their neighborhood. Tensions peaked last month when residents saw steelwork suggesting that a third floor would likely be added to a single-family residence under construction. They reported the matter to the KSAMC, which on April 29 placed a stop order on the construction pending an investigation. Councillor Gary Gordon of the Jamaica Labour Party Mona Division told the news that he reported the matter on April 26 and was told by representatives at the KSAMC that the developers said that what was being constructed atop the building was a staircase and a recreational area, not a third floor. However, President of the Mona Heights Citizens Association, Winsome Johns Gale, said that residents believe that despite the stop order, construction will continue. She said residents are frustrated with the KSAMC's handling of reports of building violations in the community and do not believe their complaints are taken seriously. Homeowners in Mona are extremely displeased with what appears to be chaotic building construction in the community. Mona Heights residents do not want any 3-story or higher buildings. We insist that only 2-story buildings are conducive to the community and environment, she told the news. Mona Heights citizens are calling for a temporary halt to KSAMC building approvals and an immediate developmental consultation with the community before building approvals resume. We also call for immediate stop orders and demolition, not a regularization of constructions that are non-compliant with building approvals and the prosecution of persons who persist with non-compliant developments, she said. The news made multiple attempts to get a comment from Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, on how the KSAMC will address the concerns raised by the residents and their request for building approvals to be halted until a meeting is held to discuss the issue. However, those efforts were futile, as the calls to Swaby's cellular phone and the messages with the questions were left unanswered. Meanwhile, Johns Gale said the residents are seeking assistance from the public defender in this matter. What should we expect for approvals going forward? Are we to be consulted? Are conditions of approval consistent with the current building codes for Mona Heights? What level of oversight and inspections are undertaken? If the citizens are doing it for you, why haven't you listened to our reports, she questioned. Johns Gale said that not only are 3-story buildings prohibited in the residential area, but they infringe on residents' privacy. I mean, you live in your house, you live there as a resident for a certain amount of years. You don't want a 3-story building beside you to be looking into your bedroom. You will have no privacy, and if it is illegal, it is illegal. It ought not to be done, Johns Gale said. That is what has happened to a lot of housing areas, including Hope Pastures. People have to run away, leave them place because they can't stay. The same thing has happened on Wellington Drive. If you drive down there, people used to live in homes down there, but they don't live there anymore because all of these things put up around them on all 4 sides. They have to be running to get privacy. We can't have that in Mona. We can't have something going up that is going to disturb people, she said. Complaints have been made about other construction that violate permits, but buildings have been allowed to be completed and occupied. This must stop, she insisted. A resident who has lived in the community for more than 30 years told the news that if you were to look around the community, you would only see 2-story buildings, and that is for a reason. Nobody wants anyone looking over into their yard. Another resident questioned the developer's claim that a 3rd story was not being constructed. Generalship, they intended a 3rd floor, and if not closely monitored, it will quietly continue. I just passed the building and work goes on, said the resident on May 1. The plan is to complete the 3rd floor and then seek to regularize. It is only effective and intentional leadership which can halt this travesty, he added. Transport Authority boss says scammers posing as him to swindle people. Transport Authority Managing Director Ralston Smith has strongly condemned what he says is a worrying trend of scammers using the identity of public officials to swindle individuals, branding it as a direct attack on the integrity of public figures. Smith said he was recently informed that the scammers are using his identity to contact people and trick them into believing that the Transport Authority is having an auction to dispose of brand new vehicles stationed at the Kingston wharves. The matter has been reported to the police. The use of public officials' identity for scams is an attempt to tarnish and sully the good nature and the good character of public officials, said Smith. It is a worrying trend, and I am particularly concerned that an attempt would be made by criminal elements to tarnish the image of public officials in this industry, he added. Earlier this year, criminals orchestrated a similar scam using the identity of Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. Police had reported that a suspect claiming to be Vaz's assistant and identifying himself as Mr. Reynolds, a customs officer, had approached a Portland businessman offering him an opportunity to purchase two 2019 Toyota Prado motor vehicles while asking for a payment of $2.5 million for customs duties and storage fees. The businessman subsequently contacted Vaz, who denied making any proposition. The man was arrested and charged with obtaining money by false pretense. It is a sad situation that as a society, persons would resort to this kind of criminal behavior. What we have to be watchful of is the fact that the criminal minds are becoming more and more creative in terms of the execution of their criminal activities, and we urge members of the public having knowledge of this to report these matters to the appropriate authorities, Smith said. He said that the Transport Authority does have an upcoming auction, but this is not the way the entity would go about selling the vehicles. To be very clear, the Transport Authority, whenever it is conducting an auction, the auction would be for seized vehicles we have in our bonds, and these are generally old decrepit vehicles, not brand new vehicles, as persons are purporting, said Smith. The authority does this by way of public auctions, and in that arrangement, we attract the services of an auctioneer, and the auctioneer would do the auction itself. The authority has nothing to do with the auction itself, and so we would not be contacting any person at all. Neither would we ask anyone to make any deposit or payment on any seized vehicles for auction, he explained. I want to use this opportunity to warn the media, to warn the persons out there not to fall for those kind of scams, he added, urging anyone contacted by these criminals to report it to the police. CXC to ensure best outcome for exam students affected by bomb threats. The Caribbean Examinations Council is now deliberating on the remedies to be implemented for students who were unable to sit recent exams. Students of Campion College, Kingston College, both in the corporate area, and Homo Technical High School in Manchester were forced to abandon their exams following bomb threats. In another case, the weather intervened when heavy rains in St. Thomas inundated Hordley Crossing, which resulted in a number of students being unable to write their exams at the St. Thomas Technical High. Chief Executive Officer and the Registrar of CXC, Dr. Wayne Wesley, says there are available options to address the students' situation. He explained that CXC has a standard protocol which guides the response of the agency when exams are disrupted by natural disasters and other situations that are totally out of their control. The guiding principle is that the Examinations Council must ensure those students are not disenfranchised. Achieving that goal might include a rescheduled paper, retaking another paper, or using existing papers that they have completed to arrive at the particular outcome for those students, and that outcome would always be in the interest of the students.